Okay, assalamu alaikum and welcome to everybody. This is a video covering what I speak about and discuss with potential clients in the free 1 hour consultation that I have with them when they're considering taking up therapy with me. So what I usually do is that if someone reaches out to me asking for therapy, I would inform them that I have approximately, as things stand, around a 6-month waiting list. So I will put them on my waiting list, and then once I have availability, I will reach out to them, and I would previously have sent to them my office policies with how I work and my fees and what information I'd require from them if they wanted to have therapy with me. I will send them a document telling them what to expect from therapy and what they should expect from a therapist, and sort of the preferences around therapy if they've had experience of therapy before or they have an idea in their mind of what they would like. I give them a document to reflect on that in order to come with a clear idea when they have the free consultation to express what their needs and preferences are. So this video will cover everything that I will cover in that consultation, and in that consultation I go through, it's not a session, so I'm not expecting anyone to open up too much in the session. This consultation is really for them to just explain to me their preferences, their expectations, their sort of, if they have any psychiatric history, and what their experience of therapy are, so I can cater that for them. So it's mainly me just going systematically through all these things like I'm doing in this video. So the point of the consultation is that it's not a session, so I only need to know what you want to work on in the session briefly. The point is that you get a sense of whether you are comfortable working with me and you feel that I can be of help to you, and for you to voice your questions on practical issues, and for me to explain to you how I work. Who do I work with? I only work with people who are resident in the UK. So you may be a British national, but if you live abroad, I don't work with anyone outside of the UK. And the reason being for that is there's two reasons. Insurance reasons, whether my insurance company covers. Online therapy is very vague. There's lots of it's a grey area. This, can you work with people abroad? I personally choose not to, because of even though our bodies do allow it, our therapeutic bodies and our insurances do allow it, there are issues around one. If there is some incident that happens in the session and I need to contact any kind of services, I'm unable to do that if they are in another country, because I'm not aware of the numbers that need to be contacted. Secondly, are that each country has very different rules around the permissibility of providing a therapeutic service. So in America, even each state requires that you be trained and qualified by the requirements of that state. So if you're in America, unless you have a qualification and certification, you couldn't work with someone outside even your own state. France has very strict rules, and other countries do as well. I think in Spain you'd have to have qualified in psychology to actually provide therapy. And so because of that, I prefer to play it safe and for me to provide a psychological container for the client, so I can be for them and support them. I would require that they be in the UK. So if someone was to go on holiday, I wouldn't be able to have sessions with them until they return back. So you don't have to be a British national, but you do have to be resident in the UK for me to hold sessions with you. You'd have to be 18 and over, and that you're paying any monetary exchange, it be between me and the client and not another family member. So if someone else is paying for the therapy, I would only communicate through the client, and they would have to chase up payments with that person paying. And also another requirement is that I not be working with any other immediate family member that they are aware of. Sometimes you don't know that another family member is having therapy with me. But if you are aware, I can't work with two clients who are from the same family, immediate family. My credentials is that I am now a qualified counsellor and psychotherapist. I've been qualified from Leeds Beckett University, and I'm a member of the BACP, which is the British Association of Counsellors and Psychotherapists, which is the main body, the most widely recognised body in the UK for psychotherapy and counselling, alongside UKCP. I really emphasise the importance of getting therapy from qualified therapists who have affiliated to recognised bodies, because if you were to experience some kind of adverse experience in your therapy, you need a recourse to hold the therapist accountable so they can reflect on their practice and make the necessary changes, or to be struck off from their body. So I really recommend people do have that, and I have it in my office policies. I have my membership number, so if ever you felt that I was working unethically with you, concerned about my practice, you can contact the BACP and quote my membership, and they would take the necessary action. I'm also a somatic experiencing practitioner. It's a particular therapy that deals with working with the nervous system and the body. Often clients who suffer from physiological pain can benefit greatly from that. It's about you tuning into the area where you feel the pain and learning how to regulate it. But it's not just for physiological pain. People can work on their anger, their anxieties, their depression by tuning in. So that may look like in a session where someone speaks about that anger. Where do you feel that in your body, and are you able to stay with that and attune with that? If it becomes too overwhelming, can you connect to something outside of yourself or feel another part of your body, in order to learn how to connect your body, understand your body, and regulate your body, bring it out of certain states like the fight flight or the freeze state or the collapse state. So some clients focus purely on that approach, others like to blend it, others don't like that at all and they prefer just regular standard talk therapy. I'm also to have about 22 years of experience teaching teaching Islamic sciences, so often clients may want to speak about religion, the relationship with God, passing apart culture from religious practice. I'm more than welcome their clients are more than welcome to explore that with me, and I'm not coming from a judgmental position. I'm coming to explore things with you. And so regardless of where you're at in terms of your religious practice, whether you practice or not, it's really, if religion is an important aspect of your life or a relevant aspect of your life that you want to explore, no matter where you're at, I'm happy to explore that with you as a counsellor. Know that I have regular supervision. Once a month I meet with my senior supervisor, and our peer supervision as well in the month, so that I'm going through the work I do with clients to explore that and get support with that and get another perspective on things. Anything I bring to my supervisor, my peers in supervision, is purely anonymous. I remove any information that could identify the client. But that is so that I can support clients. How do I work? I provide 1 hour sessions, and I work in blocks. So when I say 1 hour sessions, you have the full hour, not the 50-minute that some therapists offer. And then I try to pace sessions. So what I mean by that is, after half an hour I may check in with you and say, how do you find the sessions going? Is it going in the trajectory that you were expecting it to be? Do you want to take it in a different direction? Do you want something different from me? And then when the session's coming up to the last 10 minutes of the hour, I may say, we're just coming up to the last 10 minutes, not jumping into any new material, but getting a sense that it's slowly coming to an end. So that you're able to slowly it's not a sudden stark shift or change for you, so you're ready to get on with the rest of your day. You're not feeling still like you're in the session processing things. However, every so often someone needs an extra 5 or 10 minutes because of things come up suddenly at the end. I don't make abrupt endings to a session, so I will do that, and there's no extra charge. But if a session does start to go into over half an hour or more, I will charge an extra half of the fee. So I charge £45, so it would be an extra £20, £22, £50 or whatever, if it goes over the half hour. But I will contract that with a client. Like it feels like you need to go up to the hour and a half. If that's the case, I will charge. Is that okay with you? Know that so they generally are 1 hour sessions, and I work in blocks. So usually with clients, if they've been with me for some time, I will work. They will end a block, and then I go into a new block. So those blocks are August to December the 20th. Then I take 2 weeks off, starting the second week of January, and January to the Easter holidays up to the end of March or beginning of April, then mid-April to the end of June. So I take July off. So that's 3 blocks in the year, and then I will say to a client at the end of a block, do you want to continue into the next block? If you do, what's your preferred frequency, day and time? And then they will give me their frequency, day and time, once a week, once every 2 weeks, and once a month, whatever their frequency is. And then their preferred day, is it Monday, is it Sunday, is it in the morning, afternoon or evening? They give me that, and then I will look at my diary, and I will block book them from August, for example, all the way to December, and give them the provisional dates. They will confirm whether they work for them, and we go accordingly. That's just a roadmap, though. At any time we can reassess the frequency or the day, and you're not bound into it. I don't try to block people into these bookings. They're just so we've got some frequency and some guaranteed regularity at the preferred time and day. I send out a 48-hour reminder, a 24-hour reminder, so that you've got ample opportunity to cancel or the session, so that you're not charged. If you give me less than 24 hours, I do charge the full fee for that. So new clients, though, they don't tend to block book. They tend to, and I prefer you do, but most don't. They usually book in about 3 sessions or 5 sessions and want to see how they go. The only problem with that, potential problem, could be that you don't get the regularity in the dates, the preferred times and days, because other people have taken those up by block booking. Have you? The next question I often ask in this consultation is, have you had therapy before? And I will reflect. I'll explore with you what your experience was of that, what worked, what didn't work, so that I can cater the therapy accordingly. Because I work in what we call an integrative way. I have different ways of working with clients, and I work collaboratively. So I will check in with clients how they want to work, what's working, what's not. And I'm constantly assessing that every few sessions to see what they're liking about the session, what they're not. I really encourage clients to come forward to express themselves about what they like and what they don't like, or whether their needs are being met in the sessions, what their confusions are, what their doubts are, what their skepticisms are. It's really important, because if we don't address those doubts and skepticisms, they will sabotage the therapy. So it's really important you come and explain and express your preferences and your expectations. I would also ask whether you've ever been on psychiatric medication or you're currently on psychiatric medication, and what your dosage is, and whether you've been diagnosed with anything in the past or currently diagnosed, just so I can get an idea of how to support you. If people have had quite psychotic episodes and they're still suffering with that, I might require that they're working with a psychiatrist as well. So certain presentations may not be conducive to online work. If people have addictions, for example, especially hard substances such as drugs, they might need a little bit more than just online therapy. I might be able to do online therapy, but it's important that they have extra support beyond the therapy. It might not be enough or sufficient. Confidentiality, know that everything that you share in the sessions is in complete confidence, unless there are certain circumstances where we as therapists are obliged to break confidentiality. That's if we feel that the client is a harm to themselves or to someone else. Safeguarding issues, if they mention someone explicitly who is currently in contact with children and is a risk to them, 16 or under, is a risk to them, we are obliged to break confidentiality, inform the necessary or the relevant services. I will always make sure with clients that I am informing them and being open with them and working alongside them in that. If I do have concerns, I express them. I don't suddenly jump things on clients whereby they get a knock at the door and they're not even informed about it and the crisis team have turned up. So I want clients to feel comfortable enough they can open up and share about things about their struggles and not worry, if I say this, will this be have ramifications. So I recommend clients, if they do have concerns, before even bringing things forth, they do talk about it with me ambiguously so they can get some reassurance before sharing. But I don't want to prevent clients from being able to bring the material they do want to share. How much is it? The fee is £45. I used to provide concessions. I don't anymore, unfortunately. So it's £45 and you make that payment after a session for each session, and you would make a bank transfer and you give your name as a reference or give your initials or some way I can identify you when that payment's made into my bank account. You can pay at the end of the month if need be, rather than if your salary comes in at the end of the month. How would you start? The office policies that I would send out to you, you would need to fill out all that information and sign it with a signature, not just your name typed out. I'd need a signature on a PDF. If you don't know how to do that, you can look online on YouTube how to sign a signature PDF. What do sessions look like? I usually, at the beginning of a session, the default would be that I'd say, okay, we've got this hour together. Is there something specifically you want to explore? And then it's over to the client. The client will be speaking about their issues and I will reflect and paraphrase and summarize what I've understood. And the client will then, after about 20 minutes of that, I will check in with the client to see if this is working and they're benefiting from this. And they may report, yes, this is how I like it, or they may say, I feel understood, I feel like you're connected, I feel your empathy, and it's really nice, but I feel I need a bit more from you. I need you to be a bit more directive. I want you to show me where to go, or I want you to give me some sort of intervention here. We do some technique here. I want to focus more on somatic work. So it's really important clients come forward and express that, because my default will be to hold space and be actively listening and paraphrasing. And some clients like that, some clients want more. So I work collaboratively with a client and we get a sort of bespoke practice. So between 3 and 5 sessions, you should have, by the 5th session, you should have a clear idea whether you feel you're benefiting from this therapy and whether you're enjoying it and you feel it's effective for you. I wouldn't expect clients just to keep convincing themselves that they need this after 5th session and they still got lots of doubts and they're not really feeling like they are benefiting. So I don't recommend a client coming in the initial session jumping into really heavy material. There's this concept of the disinhibition effect online, is that people can end up just oversharing and jumping into really deep material before they're ready, and then a lot of shame can come up or overwhelm. And so it's really important that clients take their time, feel there's trust in the relationship and feel safe and comfortable in the relationship before coming with material that's quite heavy for them. I'm happy to hold space for whatever the client brings, but just being aware that sometimes we can jump too quickly in, and it can actually end up being a bit overwhelming and put people off the experience. You might not know where to start. Some clients might find the therapeutic space a bit odd, and so they might want a bit of just chit chat at the beginning to ease and work their way in, or they may ask me, can you start and lead the session? And then after about 5-10 minutes they may then feel comfortable to take it in a certain direction. I'm happy to work in whichever way the client wishes. I don't suggest any major life decisions. They might like leaving the country or leaving their relationships and stuff. Everything that we do is an exploration. So even if a client wants to ask advice from me, I'm happy to express what's coming up for me and concerns for me or insights. But I always turn it to an exploration, so I'll offer it back to you afterwards, because I don't live your life and you're the one in your shoes and you experience what you experience, and so it's important you're able to make those decisions. And so I offer it and we turn to an exploration. Now I've said that, I've given over my sort of perception on things. Any resistance to that, what comes up for you, does that align with what your thoughts and feelings are? And I'm no way coercing people to a certain way of doing things. How do I know how many sessions? I generally taper. So we start with about 3 to 5 sessions, and then after maybe 5 sessions of doing once a week, you start to feel they come around a bit too quickly, so you spread them out to every 2 weeks, and then we have about 5 sessions of every 2 weeks, and then it becomes once a month, it becomes once every 2 months. That's how I prefer to do sessions, to taper them like that. But some clients, they just want to do 10 sessions and that's it. Regardless, that you can have as many sessions as you would like, but if you suddenly end them and then feel later on you ended them prematurely or later need more sessions, you don't go on a waiting list after that, and you're able to come straight in and I can provide sessions for you. The way this tapering method is, it enables you to see whether you feel like you're benefiting and growing in the therapy, because if you definitely know that you needed once a week and then maybe 2 months in you see I only need once a month, you can definitely see this growth. So just what frequency do I recommend? I do recommend once a week to start off with, but a lot of clients can't do that because of circumstances. But I do recommend not having once a month initially, because it's a bit too much of a gap. We need to get, for the first 3 to 5 sessions, we need to get a bit of flow. However, if that's all you can afford or that's what you want, I'll provide that once a month. What frequency do I recommend? Emergency sessions. If you wish to have an emergency session between sessions, I can provide that. What I generally recommend is that you check in with me, you reach out and say I might need a session, something's come up and I need to process it, and I might say give yourself just 24 hours to see if you feel you do need a session, because just the fact that you reached out might be enough, that you know someone's there and you've reached out to them. However, some clients may say to me, no, I know I definitely need a session, can you give it to me today or tomorrow? I will see. I generally can guarantee, I usually can get someone in within 48 hours if they do reach out. What if you turn up late? So say you've missed the 24-hour mark, and then you have a session at 5 or 6 and you turn up, you realise at 5:30 the session's on. Just come. I'm going to be sitting here for the hour, and I'm not going to be here waiting to shame you or analyse why you're turning up late. Is there something going on psychologically between us? I realise people have hectic lives, and so just turn up and make the most of that half an hour, 20 minutes you've got left. How do I assess progress? How do we assess the progress? The tapering tells us where we're progressing, because if you needed once a week and now you need once a month, you can see this growth. I also provide a progress tracker. After about the first 10 sessions, I will send a progress tracker, which is a document with all these different areas of your life you can reflect on to see whether you're growing or whether maybe you didn't even think about addressing this area and now you realise that would be helpful. And also I try to demystify the therapeutic process, and what I mean by that is that the therapeutic process is not like a normal conversation, the therapy conversation. So it may be that you're talking, and then suddenly you stop and I go quiet for 5 seconds. I will give the rationale of what I did. I'll pick up whether you how you feel. It might seem you're a bit uncomfortable, confused by that silence. After about 5 seconds, I'll say you probably noticed I was silent for a moment there. The reason I did that because I felt like you need a little bit of space just to process things and slow things down. You may report back to me, that was very uncomfortable and don't ever do that to me again, and I won't do it again. So anything I do that's a bit out of the ordinary of a normal conversation, I would explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. So you have the informed choice to decide whether you want to actually do that. So if I feel an intervention might be useful, I'll offer it. What do you think? Is there any resistance to that? Do you think, is it confusion, or you just feel you don't incline towards that, and then we can go forward or not go forward with it. Can I help? There are no guarantees in life, but someone may have back pain and they go to a chiropractor and it may not help. But I'm generally optimistic that I can help, but there are no guarantees. And if I feel that maybe a different approach or a different therapist might be better, I may refer to you. I'm not trying to lock you in and to be my forever client. In the end, I'm here to serve you and to be of service to you. Will the sessions be intense? That's usually a sign that it is we're going too intense. I like to liken it to a personal training session in the gym. If you can't get up the next day, your trainer was pushing you too hard. This pushing through the pain barrier is generally not a good idea, and usually you will end up losing motivation or having anxiety around even coming to therapy. So I don't recommend that approach. It can happen in the first few sessions because therapy is new, but it shouldn't be prolonging. If it is, it's a sign we need to go a bit slower and pace things a bit gentler. You can't have sessions whilst driving. If you are in the car, you're most welcome to pull up. Some clients like to be in the car in order to get the privacy they want, or they can go to a nice scenic area. You just need to make sure that you have the reception you require there. You just need to make sure the Wi-Fi is there. So when we do get connection issues, generally we start with Wi-Fi. If that doesn't work, then data. If that doesn't work, then often we mute the Zoom, because I do sessions through Zoom. We mute the Zoom. We do a telephone call, so we're not relying on the Zoom's image or the audio, and the phone's usually more reliable with the connection. So we've got the image of the Zoom, but doesn't matter if that cuts off because we've got a phone contact. That's usually the protocol for when there are connection issues, but please do try to check what your connection's like. We might need to hotspot, and data usually does solve the issue if the Wi-Fi is playing up. Also, you can't be in company with the session. Is if someone comes into the session, or you need to go somewhere to open the door for someone or deal with something, I will mute you and I would turn your camera off for you, so you've got the privacy and I'm not able to listen or see anything. And then once you come back, I'll have ask the attendee to ask the attendee to turn it on, their sound and their video again. You'll see that request. You can go outside, but you've got to make sure you've got the privacy. You can't do it whilst walking, because you may bump into someone, walk into something, or someone else may overhear you. So I require, if you do go outside, you go to a quiet, secluded area. Make sure you've got Wi-Fi connection there, and people can't overhear you. I think that's that. If you don't have to use the video, if you wish to turn off the video at any moment, or just never have the video on, you're most welcome to have the session with just the audio. I'm fine with that as well. I may ask you what your goals are, obviously, of therapy, so that I've got an idea in my mind about what things you are looking to actually explore and gain from the therapy sessions as well. I think I have covered everything that I can think of, so that's what I cover in a consultation. I hope that was helpful for you, and take care.